Credit card plastic might not be so fantastic. That's according to the public defender from the Telegraph, John Rolfe. John, how you going, mate?
G'day, Pete. How are you?
Great. What's the story on credit cards, mate?
Well, this might be an issue close to your heart, given you've just come back from Mediterranean Europe. We're looking at credit card surcharges, and that's something that I think consumers most commonly run into when they try and book an airline ticket. So, Pete, did you pay a credit card surcharge when you jetted off to Greece and Turkey?
But of course.
Well, Choice recently found that a family of four that was going from Brisbane to Bali would pay $100. $100 on a single transaction. So I went to Bali recently and I managed to get tickets for under $200 a person. So had I not managed to avoid the credit card fee, and I'll explain how I did that in a minute, then I would have been paying something like, well, for me and my wife and our little fella who didn't actually need a ticket, it would have been 25%. Now, that's clearly not on. The Reserve Bank has said it's not on, but unfortunately the Reserve Bank doesn't have any enforcement powers. The federal government has said, well, we need to step in behind the Reserve and start cracking down on airlines, taxis, hotels, ticketing companies, and really get these credit card surcharges down from levels that are extortion.
Okay, so give us an example of a surcharge that people are actually paying. So you're saying you could have paid $100 surcharge?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So a lot of airlines charge $25 on an international flight per booking. So a family of four, that's $100. Now, another example, you might be flying from Sydney to Melbourne on Tiger Airways and coming back, you might get that fare for $50. Well, that'll be $17, thanks very much, in a credit card surcharge. Now, that has absolutely no relationship whatsoever to what it is that Tiger is paying Visa or Mastercard. It's a profit centre for them. That has to stop. The Reserve Bank introduced guidelines in March that should have stopped it. It should have meant that you're paying no more than $1. But it just hasn't happened. And frankly, even the airlines are getting sick and tired of trying to understand what these Reserve Bank guidelines mean. I talked to one airline that said that their lawyers had to hire other lawyers to try and interpret it. So David Bradbury, the Assistant Treasurer and apparently our Consumer Affairs Minister, he said that we're going to do something about this, and he's referred it out to what's called the Commonwealth Consumer Affairs Advisory Council and said, get back to me by the end of July. I hope they don't run over time, because he needs to act before the Prime Minister of the day, whether that be Julia Gillard or Kevin Rudd, heads off to the Governor-General and we go into caretaker mode. Otherwise, nothing will get done about this.
Isn't it a classic case, John, that, really, why doesn't the Minister just act? Didn't the Victorian government basically say the cab charge that their big slugs on people using credit cards was over? They chopped it in half or something?
That's exactly what they did, Pete. They got Alan Fells, the former head of the ACCC, who doesn't muck about, to look into it, found that it was a rip-off, and they halved it. And I think David Bradbury should simply do the same. Those airlines, and certainly Visa and Mastercard, they just want something simple. They don't even particularly mind if the government is increasing the level of regulation, as long as it applies evenly to everyone and that no one has an advantage. Now, I want to tell people how they can avoid these charges. And when I went off to Bali, what I did was I paid by bank deposit. We pay for all sorts of things via bank deposit, and with the airline that I was travelling with, simply by paying by bank deposit, and they gave me 48 hours to do it, I managed to avoid that credit card fee, which for me would have been $50.
So, John, you mean an electronic transfer?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you use such old-fashioned language and paying by bank deposit, but effectively electronic transfer is exactly that.
That's right. So I just used my internet banking facility. It really didn't take me any extra time, Pete, and it would save me big bucks. So I think it's really worth it. And you find with all of the airlines there is one way that you could avoid the fee. And they do that deliberately because it means they don't have to then put the fee in the advertised price. And so if you look at it in detail, you will find a way, whether it be bank deposit, whether it be by using a card that it may be their own branded card. So quite often they do make it difficult, but if you've got a debit card of some form, then you are often able to avoid the fee.
Okay, so it's not the banks in this case, it is Visa and Mastercard and American Express, is it?
No, it's not. This is the merchant. Those Visa and Mastercard would like to see these come down because they're not actually getting the money. The money is going into the pocket of the airline or the taxi company. That's why we've seen Cabcharges' share price fall so steeply since the Reserve Bank announced those reforms, and then subsequently the Victorian government really sounded the death knell on their 10% surcharge. So the money is going to the merchant, and that's why the RBA said in March that it could be no more than the reasonable cost of acceptance. Problem is, the Reserve Bank, look, they're not really known for having the common touch, and they didn't actually introduce a mechanism that would see it have to come down. And that's what David Bradbury is now trying to work out.
Yeah, as you know, most of our regulators are nothing more than body bag collectors. They come in after everything's gone wrong. They can't fix anything up before things go wrong. John, thanks. It's a great story. Is that in the telly tomorrow?
That'll be in the telly on Thursday, and I'd really encourage everyone to go and fill out the survey on the Treasury website, because it's only through hearing from ordinary people that we'll get something done about this.
Good stuff, John. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Bye-bye.
Coming up, our market private eye, David White, will sum up JB Hi-Fi. Is it a buy or should we wave it? Bye-bye.